what is the lifetime value of this program?
$100 million plus. I am the most wealthy person in the world.
Hey, everybody. Today, we are interviewing Amanda, someone who's been without a diagnosis. And I'm sure a lot of you out there watching don't have a diagnosis, but know there's a heck of a lot of autoimmune stuff going on. So you're going to hear her story, but after at least 30 plus years of symptoms, no diagnosis, tens of thousands of dollars, and tons of symptoms, you guys got to see she had electrocution level of pain. Where is she today? Just you wait. I'm Maggie, UMD, and I am a functional and holistic physician and the creator of the Transform protocol and the Facebook group community Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. If you're watching this, click the link above or below this video and join our Facebook group, join the community, watch the case studies, watch the trainings, watch the results. If you're watching from YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, give us a follow. That'll be amazing. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Amanda, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Amanda, and I am a mom of 5 children. Thankfully, we graduated our last one at the end of last year. And so she went off to college last weekend. Our middle child will go off to college this weekend, and I'll have an empty house. But my children range in ages from 18 to 23, so they're all back to back. So I live on a small hobby farm as well. We have about a 1/4 acre of a garden and 17 chickens, 2 ducks, and 4 dogs. So life is busy at home, but life is also very busy at work. I'm the executive director of a family homeless shelter. So like housing families, regardless of their makeup, whether it's a single parent or a double parent or a kinship placement, doesn't matter. We are the only shelter that will do that in a 7-county radius. It's lots of fun and challenging at the same time. Yeah, that's just a little bit of my backstory.
I mean, so how many of you out there are dealing with autoimmunity and also being a full-time mom to like 5 kids, trying to run a business, a charity on top of that, a homeless shelter, and a farm? All right. I'm feeling a little inadequate right now, Amanda. Thank you so much. So let's dig in. All right. So Amanda, I mean, you recently just completed our 2-month online program, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. I want to know what life was like what brought you into the autoimmune world. So I would love for you, because did you have a diagnosis with your autoimmunity?
I did not have an AI diagnosis. I just had a multitude of symptoms and lots of frustration trying to figure out what it was.
Let's share that journey. What were your top symptoms?
My number 1 symptom was just this overwhelming 10 out of 10 pain in my feet. And by pain, I mean, most of the times it felt like my feet were just connected to an electrical light socket being electrocuted. I felt like I was walking on glass or walking on nails. And then I would get these sharp stabbing pains that would radiate in my feet and up my legs. That was like the hugest piece of the puzzle, because it just zapped my life. You know, you don't realize how much you need a part of your body until it stops working.
Well, and it's also not that it wasn't working, it was electrocuting you. A part of your body being electrocuted 10 out of 10 on a daily basis, on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. And then I would have these times with my hand where I couldn't even pick up an ink pen. I couldn't hold it. I would put it in my hand, it would fall right out. My hands would go numb, and they just wouldn't function. And then on top of that, I suffered through chronic fatigue and this major brain fog where I could have a conversation with you right now, and if I didn't write the details down as we were communicating, 5 minutes later, I couldn't remember what we talked about. I couldn't retain it. I had digestion issues because of all the pain and dealing with it for so many years. I developed mixed depression, anxiety disorder. And of course, doctors want to say, what came first, the pain or the depression? And no, it was the pain, let me tell you.
I know, I've been there, lady. I mean, we're talking pain, we're talking brain fog, digestion issues, chronic fatigue. You mentioned insomnia, that was terrible. Of course, this is going to kill a libido. You had
Oh,
mentioned.
absolutely. Absolutely. Libido was in the tubes, just didn't happen anymore. And then I would get these joint flare-ups where my joints would swell and they would hurt to the point where I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of bed on some days.
I'm curious, what are your doctors telling you? This is so many symptoms piled up.
You
and
must be
keep getting answer.
She must be cuckoo.
Yeah, so like no answers. I saw pain specialists. I saw multiple neurologists. I've had tests, like specialized tests done. One of the tests only 4 doctors in the whole state can read. They say, we believe that you have these symptoms, but we don't know what's causing it, so we don't know how to treat it. And that's very frustrating when you spend tens of thousands of dollars, like on top of what the insurance pays. And so like some of it used to be manageable. And then I got that, that wonderful pandemic virus in 2020, and then it just flared from there and it never calmed back.
So let's talk about this. How many years total do you think you've had these symptoms for? First of all, how long did you have these symptoms for in total?
So I can recall the digestion and the joint pain back into like junior high school.
Junior high school,
when
everybody. Yeah.
I would play sports in school, and then I would have to come home. My knees would be the size of cantaloupes, and I would have to ice them. I told my mom I had a weather knee. I could always tell her if there was a storm coming in.
And Amanda, even looking back, that's not normal. We shouldn't have a knee where barometric pressure from weather changes would cause it to blow up like a watermelon or not. That is not normal. You didn't just have a weather knee. You had early signs of an autoimmune disease.
Yes. And so my doctors in junior high, their answer was, they said, potentially you have a tendon that's rubbing the back of your kneecap. You can either back down on your sports or you can have surgery.
We're talking like at least 30 years of symptoms.
And
And then tens of thousands of dollars spent on trying to get a diagnosis without a diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
And without a treatment plan, and with it worsening after the pandemic and the twice.
Yes. I had not been without foot pain 24 hours a day since 2019.
Okay. So I want to know, where are you at right now? Before we go into any of the house, whatever, let's just put out the whole enchilada right now. This is like 2 months ago. That's where you were. Where are you right now?
Right now, my pain averages around a 4. But I do have hours in my day, every single day, where I'm completely pain-free. I'm able to sleep on average 7 to 8 hours a night. I was like, wow, I haven't done that in years. It's so nice to wake up and feel refreshed. I'm like, I don't know what this feels like. So prior to the program, one of the big things that bothered me was I would literally drag myself out of bed, drag myself to work. And by the time I got home, even though I don't have a physically demanding job, I would lay on the couch and I was done for the day. I physically could not do anymore. Now I'm coming home and I have energy to like go out and visit my animals and help take care of them. I was able, with my husband's help, to totally redo this room and even build the desk that this computer's sitting on right now. And all that in after work hours. Like prior to the program, I had to sleep all day Saturday. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I don't have to sleep on Saturday anymore. We've chosen to make that our adventure day or date day. So my husband and I are getting to rebuild our relationship and go do things.
I'm just curious. Yeah, you're mentioning about rebuilding this relationship with him. You're telling me you used to not be able to hold a pen and now you're building a desk. Talk to me about what this change has been like for your marriage and your personal life.
Oh, it's been amazing. And another thing I was able to start doing again was crocheting. My next youngest child actually got married last year, right out of high school. And I had started a blanket for them that I had to put away because I couldn't crochet it anymore. I couldn't hold the crochet. And I'm almost done with that blanket now. I'm like, yeah, I can do it again. So like one of the biggest things I got from this program is that through the mindset work, which for me, I'll be honest, that was the hardest part of the program and the best part. It was the hardest and the best part, the most rewarding. And so through the mindset program, I've been able to like regain my joy for life and the creative side of myself that existed for years and years, that likes to play music, that likes to create art, that likes to crochet, that likes to go hiking and biking and kayaking. There is a week where you had to write a narrative on where your emotional home was.
Yeah.
And when I wrote that narrative and I read it back to myself, I started bawling because I said, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
It was so dark. It was a very dark narrative. And that moment was life-changing. Because then of course you flip that narrative and you dream into where you wanted to be,
Yeah.
and where you want to be and where you want to go. And that was the moment I started regaining my joy and my creativity. And so to be able to do things for myself without having to be dependent upon my husband. We drove 8 hours to Michigan at the end of week 9, actually.
And that's a big deal for you, because you said you could not ride in the car for more than like 15 minutes.
Yes. 8 hours to Michigan from here. Spent the whole weekend. We went exploring on trails. We went and walked around Mackinac Island. Lots of foot walking that I couldn't do before. It's awesome.
So, I mean, we know that's where you're at right now. And this is just a 2 months change. And I always tell people, Amanda, I say this is the top first, like literally 10% of what you're going to experience for the next rest of this year.
I'm so excited.
I say this is a launch pad to a year of autoimmune turnaround. But I mean, would you have thought prior to this that this was possible?
No. Not after fighting for so many years.
Yeah.
To even find like minute relief. As a matter of fact, that almost kept me from joining the program.
Because
Well,
you
let's
didn't
talk
believe
about
it
that.
would work. You didn't believe it would work for you. Is that right?
I was very hesitant. I found the program because I was literally in so much pain I couldn't sleep at night. I was laying in a hot Epsom salt bath, like crying and praying and searching the internet, trying to find answers. And I came across one of Dr. Maggie's videos. So finally, I found where you did an interview with somebody that was over a year out, and she's like still saying, hey, this is awesome. Because my experience in the past was a program will work for a few weeks and then it just tapers back down to where it was.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a big investment not to know that it's going to last a lifetime. So yeah, that was like, so fear of, is this going to work for me? Is it going to last and continue past like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, is so that it's worth my financial investment.
So yeah, it was an investment for you.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I'm sure you've learned by watching these videos and by talking with Dr. Maggie and by being in the program, is it gets better and better. It's not just that, okay, it works at the beginning, but you continue to improve.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're already looking forward to that. So that's what's so exciting about this. And you'd already spent, though, you said tens of thousands of dollars to not get anywhere, to get no answers, to not have anything that's working for you. And you were continuing to get worse physically.
Well, let me add something here. Plus 30 years of pain and suffering. And you were at the point where you were thinking, I'm going to lose my job.
Yes. Very terrifying thought. I was thinking either I'm going to have to figure out a way to work from home, doing something different. You can't apply for disability when you don't have an official diagnosis. So I'm like, how am I going to continue to like fund my life? Am I going to get fired from my job because I can't retain information? When I found the Transform Autoimmune program, I was at my lowest of lows and I was devastated, just questioning, what does this mean for life? I'm only, I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm only 42. I still have a lot of living to do. And I was thinking, I'm going to be couch bound or wheelchair bound at like by 45.
See, the cost of that to me is unacceptable. That's expensive. The most expensive price you can pay is to lose your job, your ability to self-care, your ability to engage as a wife, as a mother, as a professional. That to me is the most expensive price that you're paying when you decide you're not going to turn this around. Well, let's go to, people want to know the secret sauce. They want to know, like, what was so
Yeah.
miraculous about working with Dr. Maggie in this program for 2 months? Did you drink the
Yeah.
Kool-Aid? Like, what is the
Yeah.
actual secret sauce for ending this level of pain, electrocution type of pain, this level of fatigue, insomnia, depression, no libido? I mean, what really were your linchpins? What was so miraculous? And is it really a miracle?
It's a miracle to me.
Not a miracle to me.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Every step of this program, I saw improvement. So with every one of the 5 pillars that I've wholeheartedly applied the information, I've seen improvement. And I think back, like, remember, I couldn't ride in the car more than 15 minutes. At the end of week 3, I took an impromptu 2.5-hour flight to Florida to be part of my little sister's baby shower. And then I was able to be active over that weekend with my mother and my father and my little sister and my grandma and my aunt, who all live in Florida. And so if you look at what we've applied only by week 3, it's not a whole lot. Right?
It was a whole lot. What was it?
Cutting gluten made a huge difference in everything. My digestion, my joint pain, the amount of pain and tingling in my feet, the electrocution.
Yeah.
Properly hydrating. I didn't realize how big of a key that is until like you slack off on it one day. And then I'm like, oh, I haven't drank enough water. All my joints hurt. So that was key. I'm still working on blood sugar balance, but I can tell you the days that I hit it, I feel much better than the days I don't hit it.
And you have the knowledge now. You know what to do and how to apply this. So if you do backtrack in any way, you know how to get yourself back on track.
Yes. So having that tool now moving forward to be able to think, oh, the electricity is returned in my feet.
Yep.
It's okay. Did I get gluten? Did I change any supplements? Did I get enough water? Like, I got this checklist to go down of, I can problem shoot myself. The knowledge that's imparted in this program allows us to be able to troubleshoot for the rest of our lives.
So important. I think people want to know, what is it like to work with Dr. Maggie? Maybe she doesn't want to ask, but like, tell me, what was it like? Good, bad, ugly?
Let me be honest. The very first mastermind call I was on, I'm a very strong personality typically, but the very first mastermind call I was on, I was terrified because Dr. Maggie is as strong of a personality as I am, and I was intimidated for the first time in my life.
Thank you.
Take that as a compliment.
She was not mean or rude in any way. She was very straightforward, and there was a lot of people to get through. And so I was like taken aback. And then I'm like, wait, I've watched so many videos. I know I love Dr. Maggie. And so that was the internal dialogue that I had to work through. But working with Dr. Maggie, honestly, was amazing. Like, she is very kind, but straightforward. She doesn't beat around the bush, and she's just like, this is what you need to do. And that was amazing. Like to be able to listen to her explain to other people, learn one,
do one, teach one. That's how we teach you how to troubleshoot autoimmune disease now for life. And you have to learn it in the modules or in the mastermind call. You do a troubleshooting with me, and then you teach one. And in chat during the mastermind calls, all of you guys are teaching all the newbies. So it's like, learn one, do one, teach one. This is how we teach doctors to do brain surgery. So this is how I'm teaching you guys how to have a master's degree in turning around your autoimmunity.
Yeah. Seriously. So it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, I wish that the program was longer. I mean, I can't say enough about how life-changing it was, to be able to take these skills and take the friendships that I've formed and be able to take them throughout my entire life.
I think this is a really good point. I want to make this distinction. A lot of people watching right now in the audience are like, how's this different than me going to see another doctor? Right? I think the idea of an online coaching program to actually teach you the skill set you need to troubleshoot through your health for the rest of your life is something that is almost impossible to comprehend. How does a woman teach regular people to be even 10 times smarter than any specialist they'll ever meet on autoimmunity? Like, it sounds like it's an undoable task, but I take it really seriously. So
Yeah.
when I'm troubleshooting with you on a mastermind call, I'm always interested. Do you know the why? Because I want to take you beyond
Yeah.
memorizing. You ain't going to memorize
Right.
with me. Do you know why? If you don't, let's talk about it. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Now, do you know the answer? And you're like, oh, and I go, now, will you remember that for life? Yes. And there's very specific, I mean, I love to teach. And I think my specific skill set is teaching people how to recognize these patterns so that it moves beyond memorizing. So
yeah, that has been such a pivotal point for me to be able to do that for myself, because now it, like prior, right, it was you get the pain. If it increases, then it's this overwhelming dread of I can't do anything about it. And now when something happens, it's like putting on my Sherlock Holmes hat. Let me figure this out, because I know I can feel better in it's sometimes a few hours, but definitely by the next day. Just depends on what caused it.
I have a question, which is, you mentioned digestion in passing, and I want to gift everybody listening to this interview an insight as to what is a real cause of burning pain, neuropathy type pain. What do you think it is?
It's definitely tied into digestion.
Yeah.
And digestion was huge. And I didn't realize it. And I had known, like, from in my 20s doing some research. I lost my grandmother that I loved in my early 20s due to a lot of health complications. And that's what, fired me into doing nutritional and health and fitness research. But somewhere along the lines is I just let life take over, and I quit taking care of my digestive system, and it just kind of spiraled out of control.
Amanda, nobody takes care of the digestive system. Nobody takes, and it's not just taking care of the digestive system, it's getting educated and empowered to understand what it is, where the problems are, what the solutions are, but also like all the associated symptoms. That's a downstream effect for digestion. Poor digestion will cause neuropathy, electrocution type of neuropathy.
Yeah.
And so now you can look back, and even to your junior high school years, you can look back and say there was digestion problem right there. And it's almost like you can start to time lapse what happened with the neuropathy and with the pain as it was unaddressed over the years. So I hope everybody watching can get a real nugget from this, because nobody out there, none of your GI docs, none of your functional medicine doctors, your naturopaths, your rheumatologists,
those too.
no jack about digestion. None of your pain management doctors even, they've never even heard of the word. What do you mean digestion?
Yeah.
But that's your linchpin, lady. That really was to this type of pain. Yeah. That was a huge part. You mentioned blood sugar. You mentioned the hormones that are evolving. And here's something important for neuropathy. Anybody out there dealing with neuropathy, nerves typically need at least 6 to 12 months to heal. What that means is what Amanda experienced in the last 2 months is literally the first 10% of the healing that her nerves are going to go through.
I can't wait.
Me too.
Yeah, Amanda, I'm curious, what does your husband say about your turnaround in your health?
I tried to get him to come on, but he is a very shy person.
You guys must compliment each other nicely then.
Very well. Yes, very well. He is so thankful that, I mean, like, of course, he's jumping up and down that the libido is better. He's like, yes. We still had kids at home, and so we're like, always looking for when they weren't in the house. And we're like, real quick, we might have 30 minutes. Let's go.
Meanwhile, your husband's writing Dr. Maggie a thank you note as we speak.
You're welcome, Mr. Hudson.
Yes, very, very much so. And like, of course, he's very, he's excited that we can do things again on the weekends, and that he's not having to take care of a quarter-acre garden and all the animals and all the household chores alone anymore. It's starting to like revert back to an equal partnership and those sort of things. It's been nice to have a relationship back that is a relationship and not a caretaker-patient relationship, which is what it was, it just slid into for so long with all of the pain.
That's revolutionary what you just said. that your relationship with your husband had turned into a caregiver, a caretaking relationship, and you were the sick person. And that really changes the dynamic. Also, how you saw yourself. When you said
Yes,
your
yes.
emotional home was in a really dark place, that's because you felt like a sick victim, alone and in a dark place.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
How would you describe your emotional home now?
Oh my gosh, it is so bright. It is a joy to be able to serve people again because I'm not serving from an empty tank. I'm
Mm,
not just giving from something that's not there. And I don't feel like, so one of the things I felt like in my dark emotional state was, here I am giving to all these other families to make
yeah.
sure that they're taken care of, and I have nothing left to give to my own family at a time where my children are in their prime, as young adults, and this should be a time my husband and I should really be able to be living our best life and enjoying one another. And that's not fair. That's not how life should be. My family and myself should come first, but it was hard for me to prioritize myself without feeling selfish. And so that mindset shift was vital. And that has, like so much of this, I feel like you keep saying it's been life changing, transforming, amazing, but it's true. Absolutely true.
Mm.
What would you want to say to somebody who is desperate in the place that you used to be?
What I would say is, I know it's tough right now, and you may feel like that you have no hope. You feel like you have no answers, but I'll tell you what my pod leader told me in the beginning: trust the process and trust the program. Um, it works. So I kind of explained it like this to my pod mates. I said, some of this program were pieces that I had in my life prior, but my puzzle had fallen apart and I didn't know how to put my pieces back together in the right order to make them work again and to make them functional. And I learned new pieces as well. It wasn't just rehashing old stuff. So to be able to have that guidance, that step-by-step process of how to put the pieces together in the right order,
Yeah.
it just works. I'm just the average person. I live in rural farm country, Indiana. So if it works for me out here, it can work for anyone. It's just a matter of applying what she teaches and doing the work. It's work that you have to do. Know that you have to invest in yourself. You have to follow the program. You have to start to prioritize yourself and start to prioritize your health. But it works. You have to apply it.
The $1 million question everybody watching is this: what is the lifetime value of what you've received as a result of this program?
$100 billion plus. I am the most wealthy person in the world because it saved my job. It saved my marriage. It saved my health. It saved my mental health as well as my physical health. And so when you put all of that together, I have another 50 plus years of living to do that I don't have to do from the couch. I can travel, I can kayak again, I can bike again, I can go exploring again, I can get more animals because we put a pause on it till my health was better. So I can expand my farm, I can get me some goats or something. I can craft again. I can have relationships with friends and family that had dropped off because I didn't have any energy left. I don't dread going to work anymore. And it's not that my job has gotten any easier. It's that, my health has gotten better, my energy's gotten better, my mental outlook on life has gotten better. And to have those keys, to have the keys in the tough, challenging days, because I talked about work a little bit, to have those keys in the tough, challenging days, whether it's a tough day at work or a tough day at home that may flare up some negative thoughts or some anxiety, to not feel hopeless in that morning and to not have to go down that negative spiral, but to be able to turn that around. There's no price tag you can put on that. There's no price tag you can put on getting your life back and getting your relationships back and saving your career. There's not a dollar tag I can put on that. I am the most wealthy person in the world right now because of what this program has done in my life.
Amanda, I feel the same way. I was in your place. at the age of 36, and I'm a proud 52-year-old right now. And I invested, when I look at the amount of time, the amount I've spent, all that, over $1 million over the course of 15 years into my own education to learn all this in order to do this for myself first, before I was able to teach it to you, right? Do you want to do it so you spend $1 million in 10, 15 years to figure out like I did? Or do you want to learn it in 2 months working with me? To me, it is priceless, right? And if someone can make it happen for you even faster, shorter period of time, better, like that to me is worth even more. And that brings me great joy, and it's a passion for me. I love instilling all that stuff I learned the hard way to help other people learn it the easy way.
And I'm thankful for that, because to not wake up every day physically saying my body's betraying me.
Yeah, I felt
is amazing. To wake up every day and be like, hi body. Oh, and by the way, a bonus, I lost 29 pounds since starting. And I know it's just toxic waste that is like, because I didn't start exercising. I didn't start to the gym. I didn't change anything massive like that.
She just did that Facebook group. She just pulled that on you. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I lost 29 pounds over the last 2 months.
She was holding out on us.
And her hormones are just starting to get balanced. Just you wait.
Oh, I know.
It's like Dr. Maggie said, you're just really at the very beginning of it now. So all of these amazing improvements you've seen in your life, get ready for more, right?
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, thank you for taking the time not only to invest in yourself, but to share with us, because you didn't have to invest that hours and hours to share what you learned with the rest of the world. And so I want to honor your commitment and your sacrifice to share with us. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
It was so incredible to hear Amanda's whole journey when she talks about that she found this program in a very dark place, crying and praying for someone to be able to help her. And then her symptoms had such a dramatic turnaround. I mean, we see these testimonials and we see a lot of people get a very big change in their life, but she's talking about electrocution like pain. Then on some days and some hours, having no pain at all, being able to enjoy her life with her husband. She has 5 children that she's able to enjoy life with, taking trips to see her sister's baby shower. I mean, these are life moments that she would have missed out on had she not been able to transform her life. And this is somebody also who had no diagnosis. She spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to get answers, never got the answers she needed, and continued to get worse until she found this program, until she went through it. And she said, step by step, every time we would implement a change in the program, she would notice results. So Dr. Maggie, what a testament to you to be able to put everything in place for everybody that goes through the program in the right order. And that is so important because we see turnarounds week by week.
Yeah, I think she pointed it out best in this interview, in this case study, where she said, you know, I had 1 or 2 of the pieces of the puzzle, but it had fallen apart. And I didn't know how to put it back together, but there were also new pieces of the puzzle I didn't even know were missing. So that's the kind of deck we've been dealt. But I love creating a system where this is foolproof. We absolutely can help you figure out every single piece of that puzzle and in the right order, put it back together so that you have an exact image of a roadmap and a plan to how to get the hell out of this, regardless of whether you have a diagnosis or not. So this brings me great joy. This is my passion, and I am thrilled with her results. Thanks everybody for watching. And if you're watching from our Facebook group, that's awesome. I'd love for you, if something about her interview really resonated with you, if this sounds like you, if you want to learn more about the program or working with us, there's a link above or below this video for you to start a chat with our team. Go ahead, start a chat so we can learn more about what's going on with you. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified every time we go live. Thanks, everyone.